Hey everyone, it's me Kenji again, and I just got finished watching episode 5 and 6 of Love is Blind Sweden. And as always, there is so much to unpack. There's so much to discuss, so let's just dive right in. Now, I think I'm going to combine episode 5 and 6 into one video just because episode 5 was a bit of a snooze fest. It was pretty feel good. The people were meeting each other's families, and I don't think that there is much to really talk about. One of the only talking points that I have for episode 5 is this scene in which Amanda mentions how she's used to being a caregiver in the relationship. She's used to being very calm and collected while her partner is kind of hectic and crazy and all over the place. My main question for Amanda and people like her is, whenever things are going wrong in your life and you're the calm one, who is going to be there to pick you up and support you? And that's just been my biggest sort of issue with Amanda, is it just sounds like she's used to being a punching bag. She's used to being a very supportive person, but there's just so much that you can give and give until you break and you just don't have anything left. And so, as always, I've said this in all my other breakdowns, I'm concerned for Amanda. I'm just trying to figure out just what is it that's going to be her breaking point. And once again, in episode 6, we see that tested with the news that Sergio may have a baby mama in Barcelona. Chrissy, I think, handled this situation appropriately. Instead of just running with the rumors, she first approached Sergio and actually talked to him about it to get a sense of his side of the story. Now, on the flip side to that, I was so disappointed in Kimia. For those of you who have watched my previous videos, Kimia was my female crush. I thought she was so beautiful. I thought the way she handled the whole situation with Johan beautifully. But then she and some other girls decided to just spread these rumors without tracing back the source. And I just thought that was incredibly messy. I thought that was incredibly disrespectful. And it just seemed as though she and some of the other girls were out for blood. I have to say, Sergio made it very easy for them to believe this kind of story because of the way he carried himself in the pods. So it actually pays to be nice, because when things like this happen and these rumors happen like this, people are much more likely to not believe them. What I will say as well was really surprising with these 2 episodes is just how Rasmus has carried himself. Even though I said that he seemed like a yellow flag in episode 1, he has been one of the most level-headed and calm people of this entire season. When Kimia and the other girls were spreading these rumors, he just nipped that in the bud and was like, okay, well, where is this coming from? Let's just trace it back to the source. And because of that, I just think he just makes the most logical sense. And so in this way, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I finished episode 6 on Team Sergio. Like, I did not believe that this would happen. But as much as he's been sort of a dicey character, if there is no way to trace back who is spreading this rumor or who this mystery woman is, then what is he going to do? I mean, what is he gonna do? So right now I am Team Sergio, episode 6, but that might change. Who knows? So the first reunion I'm talking about is the one between Mira and Johan. The fact that Johan was shaking and still emotional after the fact just lets me know that he was in love with her, or at least had some very strong feelings for her. Now, someone who seems like they did not put their ex in their rearview mirror is Lucas. And This scene was just so messy, but I was so here for it, where we finally see that Lucas and Amelia slept with each other. And I would say I was so disappointed to hear this, just because we know that Lucas is not attracted to Amelia, and it just has come across now as though like Amelia has been begging for love and affection. Even when she talks about how they actually slept together, it seems as though she initiated, that she asked for a kiss, and then just one thing led to another. So it was just awkward, and it was uncomfortable to see how she was like, finally, and and in that same moment we have Carolina come back, which is definitely more of Lucas's physical type. And while Lucas at first seemed like a stand-up guy, a sweet guy who just so happened was not physically attracted to his partner, I've started to notice ever since the comment that he made about their relationship being challenging to the host of the show, that he's been a little bit duplicitous. Because on one hand, he is using very sensitive language and walking on eggshells with Amelia about his attraction for her, but when it comes to talking to the other men in the pods, or when it comes to talking to the host in front of everybody, or when it comes to talking to Carolina, he is very open about how he is unsure about their relationship. And there is a moment where Carolina says that, oh, you've made up your mind, you guys are gonna get married, and he's just like, maybe, and using sort of uncertain language with Carolina. Now, some of you may argue that Carolina going back to talk to Amelia was a little bit messy, but if anything, I still think the way that she handled it was still on girl code. It doesn't seem as though Carolina is trying to run back to Amelia to hurt her feelings or somehow get Lucas back, because even when Amelia asks her some questions, or some damning questions that could really create tension, it sounds as though Carolina really held back once again to spare her feelings, but just at least give her a heads up about the nature of their conversation. And once again, when Amelia learns about these conversations and runs back and talks to Lucas kind of acts dumbfounded, or he just starts to backtrack and say like, I didn't really say that, or oh, that came out kind of wrong. So I am just like, as much as people say that Amelia knows her worth, I'm just wondering if the producers are in her ear, if her friends or whatnot are telling her to stay and just stay until the end of this show. But at this point, I'm just thinking, Amelia, just leave. Save yourself the disrespect, save yourself this dignity, and just leave. And one of the last things that we do see is finally Christopher gets some type of assertiveness and some backbone and starts to talk up to Katya. And this is kind of where the name of the episode comes from, because he even says it, that the bad boy always wins. But I would have to argue that Christopher and all of you nice guys out there, it's not that bad guys win. It's just, from what I've seen, especially with Love is Blind Sweden, is the women here are very appreciative of assertiveness, of confidence, of their men telling them that they are truly interested in them and they want no one else, of them speaking up about things that actually bothering them, speaking up and not avoiding the tension because of the awkwardness of it all. And we've seen this with Katya, we've seen this with Amelia, we've seen this with Mira. All of these women appreciate that assertiveness. It has nothing to do with being obnoxious like Sergio. It has nothing to do with being a quote-unquote bad guy. That ends my recap of episode 5 and episode 6. Do you agree with Christopher that bad guys always win? Do you think that we will find the source of this rumor and just where in the world this comes from? And let me know who you think actually will walk down the aisle, because at this point, my money's on Rasmus and Chrisley, but other than that, I don't know. It's anybody's game. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and stay tuned for my recap of episode 7. Bye!